Right, it's Wednesday apparently. I say apparently because we had a holiday on Monday, and you know it's like bank holiday Mondays, you just don't know where you are. The other day I went down to see JP concerning this pump, and I should tell you a very interesting little story. A lot of people said that the holes are all, you know, ground out like somebody's drilled it out. I don't think so. When we looked at it, they were all pretty much the same. So I don't think it was that. So JP, what he did was, he got the cover and he put an oil stone across here, and you can see where it's high here, high here, high here, hidey-ho. What caused it? It was very interesting. So he put his oil stone across, I'll tell you in a minute. So he put his oil stone across it so he could put it onto his magnetic vise, so he could put it on the surface grinder, and he took 3/1000 of an inch off it. And that was one of the times I really wished I had my camera, because you could see it was bent. This cover was bent in such a way that you could see perhaps that's why it was leaking. Now, was it my fault? I had to say. Let me explain. Oh, you're still there. Usually when I fit the pumps, I use a socket, and I have these 3 pins, not 3 kings, these 3 pins here as guide pins, so that when I put the pump in, I have it lined up on the shaft. So I just put the pump in as the last job. In the book it says put the pump in and then put the cover on. Well, if you do it like that, there's a chance that the bearings in here, the little rollers in here and here, can actually get cockeyed. And if you tap the casing down, the damn things can come out. So I like to put the cover on, without this on, without the oil seal and stuff like that, so I can see exactly when the cover's going on and it's nice, and then fit the cover, because then you can line up this slot here with a hole here and the same here, and then they just pop straight on. So what I do is I've got a socket, it's my favourite socket, and you can see where I've been banging it on here. Anyway, and so that socket fits snugly between these pins. Get it? Okay. Well, if you at the back don't know, well, you go and have a smoke. So then JP measured up the O-ring. He says, that O-ring is too big. Now, the one thing JP does in his main job is hydraulics. He knows a lot about hydraulics. And he said that the slot here is designed for a 6.5mm O-ring. This is 6.7. It's too big. So I did a little drawing here to show you what an O-ring does. There's an O-ring, and there's the slot. You see the square slot? So what happens is, as it's going into a housing, this bit gets compressed and it's forced into the sides here, here and here, and any excess rubber will go here, because you can't compress rubber. It has to go somewhere, so in effect it's just like a big coiled spring trying to get out. Well, of course, if the O-ring's too big, the cross-section's too big, it's going to be really hard to get into these little spaces here. That was my problem. So we didn't know if this is a new batch of O-rings or something, no idea. And what confirmed that to me was that when I got the gearbox, because I was all of a flummox with this, because this was the original pump, I put on a used pump with an O-ring that I put in a long time ago, and a seal that I'd got a long time ago. It was on the shelf, and I just got me socket, went like that, pop, straight in, as it should do. This one, well, it was a real bugger to get in. So, that could be the problem. And are all the O-rings the same? Because I haven't got any more left, you see. So, discussing that with JP, he said, well, it might not be a bad thing. You know, it's going to be working okay. So, I took down one of these tools here that goes on the press, you know, for pressing bearings in and out. And he machined it down on the outside, so it's exactly the same size as the oil pump. And you can see there's 3 holes in there, well, those 3 holes line up with the guide pins. Alright? Guide pins are really important. I found out this is the best way to put those pumps in because, like I say, you can damage them. And I've seen quite a few that's got damage marks like this, where the end of the shaft hits the casing. Can you see? So I like to do it like that. So then, with a bit of aluminium, made a little dolly, goes into there, and now I can bang them in. Job done. So I think that's it. So the customer wants a new oil pump. Now we'll do another video on that to see how it goes in. It should just pop in. So is it the O-rings out of spec? Could be, could very well be, something to watch for. Now, looking at this one, whilst we're talking about oil pumps, this is Bill's gearbox. We replaced in here the bushing. We made a top hat bush because the bearings fell out, if you can remember the video. Anyway, we put one in here and I had this running quite merrily for about 6 hours and it leaked. Not too much, just a bit. Now Bill put a new oil pump on here and you can tell it's a new oil pump because the new style, oops a daisy, here has got Allen bolts in, the cover here, instead of putting Torx bolts in, it's got Allen bolts in. Wow, they were a bit loose. In fact, I got about half a turn on them, nipped them up, nipped all the bolts up, perfect. Had it running for another 4 or 5 hours, not a problem. So that, I think, has fixed that problem. All right, so now let's go and have a look at something else. This is Bill's transfer case, and if you can recall, we had a little bit of a problem with it when we put it on the test bench. All we did was took it to bits and put a new bushing in here and also the steel shaft for it. We steel bushing, we do that all the time now, so we're all set up for doing that. But when we put it on the test bench, there was a knock, there was a click. I'm not sure what it was. So I drained the oil off. I thought I'd have a look at it, and now when I've got it on the bench, I can actually feel it when it's slow. Now, if that intermediate shaft here was machined out of line, it would be tight all the time. It isn't, it's tight in just one spot. Not tight, but it's annoying, just in one spot. And it's there. Wait a minute, no, it's not there. There. And I turn that, there. Now, how can I prove that? Not sure. Let me think of something. So what I've done is I've put a little 1/4" drive torque wrench on here, and we'll overcome the slack in the diff, that's normal, but keep your eye on here. Now there's resistance through the oil, which is normal, but watch when it gets to that point. Look, you see? Did you see that? Let's do it again, just in case you were having a fag. Look, gets to one point there. It's always at one point. Now, if it was all the time, like binding all the time, it would be an issue. But I think what I'll do tomorrow, I'll clean all this lot out. You know, wash it all out with brake cleaner, and have a look at the gears. It seems to be one tooth is not right. Now, if it was to be something like JP put the shaft in wrong, then it would be binding all the time. It wouldn't, you know, you get a pressure all the time. Because most of the time it's lovely, it's absolutely brilliant. But it just gets to one point, there, sticks. And I don't know what it is. Weird, isn't it? This is going to be interesting. Because you see, it's almost like the root of the, you know, you've got your teeth, you know, going like that. It's almost like there's something at the bottom of the root and I can't see what it is. So what we'll do, we'll drain this now. Well, it's already drained, but there's always a bit of residual oil in it. Spray it with brake cleaner and then we'll come back and have a look. Probably tomorrow.